Hi, I'm Ellen Scroggins, the adult programmer at the Faulkner County Library, coming to you with another Cookbook Corner, the program where I teach you how to make recipes out of the cookbooks we have available right here at the library for you to check out. So this recipe we're doing is scrambled tofu out of Protest Kitchen by Carol J. Adams and Virginia Messina. Hi, so this week we're doing the scrambled tofu, which I've actually never really worked with tofu before, so I'm really excited to make this recipe with you guys. So what you'll need for this is a nice large skillet that can hold all your ingredients in one pan. You're going to need olive oil, 3 cloves of garlic, finely minced. You're going to need about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of grated carrot, about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of sliced scallions, a cup of baby spinach. You're going to need the nice sliced mushrooms, a pound of tofu, firm. You're going to need soy sauce. You're going to need turmeric. And you're going to need nutritional yeast, which is actually a brand new ingredient for me that I've never heard of before I started working on this recipe. So the first thing you're going to do is turn your stove on to about a medium-high heat and get 1 tablespoon of olive oil in there. We're going to let that heat up nicely. As the oil heats, you can see it start to become a bit more runny and liquidy. It'll move around your pan a lot nicer. And you can use that to make sure that it's coating the entire bottom of your pan before you put anything else in there. So once you have that going, you're going to want to get your garlic and your scallions. Or sorry, not your scallions. You're going to want to get your garlic and your mushrooms. That's right. Put them in the oil, and we're going to saute them for just a couple of minutes until they get nice and golden brown. Now, it's going to be really tempting to mix these up as they go or keep stirring them, but you really want to just let them saute on one side so that they can get that nice golden color. As you start feeling, you'll start to hear them simmering and you'll start to smell the garlic. So when you get to about that point, that's when you can start turning them gently. Doing your best to really flip them more than mix them. Now I'm kind of willing to take my chances with how mushrooms get sliced. I don't always slice them super small, but if you like to, you can always cut yours up tinier. It's really a personal taste kind of thing, how chunky you make your mushrooms. While we let those go, you can start working with your tofu. Now you can always prepare this ahead of time, but an important thing about the tofu is it's going to need to be crumbled since this is a scramble. So I'm just going to reuse my mushroom bowl since they're going into the same recipe. But you're just going to want to kind of pinch and crumble up that tofu. You can start to hear those mushrooms going. They sound so good. And again, it's kind of up to you how chunky you want it. This is definitely supposed to mimic scrambled eggs, if you couldn't tell. And so it's kind of up to you how much of that you want to get into, how close to that you want to be. All right, so we got that all crumbled up. So first you're going to want to wipe your hands before you go on to anything else. And so you can hear our mushrooms and our garlic are really starting to go. They look so nice when you turn them around. Oh, I'll get that back in there. And you can really see on some of these mushrooms, they're starting to get a really beautiful color there. So these should be ready in just another maybe 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute should be enough for these mushrooms to finish cooking. Once you feel like you've sauteed your mushrooms enough and they've got that nice, beautiful color, what you're going to do next is you're going to add in your carrots and your scallions. So we're just going to scoop those in. And you're going to mix those in with the mushrooms. This is why you want to make sure you get a big enough skillet, because I'm already seeing that mine's going to be a little cozy in there. And very quickly you'll be able to smell those carrots and especially the scallions mixing in with everything. And you're going to saute those all together for about 2 minutes. Now once you have those, you're going to go ahead and start adding your tofu. Now be very careful, especially if you've got a cozy pan like I do, where everything's already kind of bumping up next to each other. Spread that in, make sure it's going to fit in your pan. And then you're going to start adding your nutritional yeast. So you're going to need about 3 tablespoons of this. I have a teaspoon, but that's okay. If you don't know, 3 teaspoons equals a tablespoon. So if you ever are out of tablespoons, you can still do your measurements pretty easy by just multiplying it by 3. And then we're going to add just a tiny little baby bit, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. Really, the turmeric is a strong flavor, so you don't need too much, but it's going to add a really nice color to our tofu. And then you just need 1 tablespoon of soy sauce in there. So now you're going to mix all this together. Again, if you've got a full pan like I do, make sure you're very careful. Don't want to be spilling stuff everywhere. So as you can see, as you mix in the yeast and the turmeric and everything, it starts to take on this really nice yellow color that actually really does start making it look kind of like scrambled eggs. I would recommend still telling anyone that you're serving this to that it's tofu. You don't want to surprise them too much, but it's very beautiful. Yeah, there we go. One day I'll stop spilling things on the counter. So you're going to cook these all together for about 5-7 minutes until they're kind of softening and you can kind of feel as you stir them that they're mixing in together well. You can smell the tofu cooking up and sauteing. And once you've been cooking for a while, once you get close to that 5-minute mark, what you're going to do is you're just going to grab your last ingredient, which is the baby spinach. You can also use kale or really any kind of just like tender greens that will wilt and cook in really well. But spinach is my favorite out of all of those. So you're going to mix that in. It looks like a lot, but as anyone who has ever worked with spinach knows, it's going to all disappear. So you're going to cook that in for about a minute until you start seeing the greens start to wilt. Kind of mix it in with everything as you go. They'll wilt in a little better if you can either cover it with a lid or if you can kind of tuck them beneath the other ingredients so they can get that moisture in there. But as you can see, they're already starting to kind of disappear into the dish. It's not very hard. And now you can really see the final product coming together. Got that gorgeous yellow all over the tofu from the turmeric. You've got the mushrooms, that beautiful color they got from sauteing. And you've got the little splashes of color from the spinach and the carrots. Honestly, this looks really good. And I don't even usually like scrambles with actual eggs in them. Thank you so much for watching. As a reminder, that recipe came from Protest Kitchen. This great book you can definitely check out right here at the library. It is full of really interesting and educational information about veganism and how you can kind of make your diet more plant-focused. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next cookbook.